What it do, everybody? You already know what it is. It's your boy Ty G back in the building. Just want to say prayers for anybody who's watching this. Just want to say thank you, for tapping in prayers. And we gonna get straight into the topic today, which is stop overestimating. Especially as we get into this new year, there's a lot of times where every single time, obviously the new year comes up, everybody sets up new goals, they set up new accolades that they're chasing, or they even just have new ideas that they want to pursue as we get into this new time. But they always want to rush it, right? And a couple videos ago, I talk about social media is a lie, but there's so many times where people, they do their year recaps and they talk about, all the progress that they made, which is amazing. This is not to denounce that, but what I am coming here to say is that there's times where we set unrealistic expectations on ourselves and we overestimate what we can do, and then we get upset when it doesn't happen in the timeline that we expect it to happen. You might have those people, even yourself, you might say, I want to save up, or I want to make X amount of money this year. This year, I'm going to make 6 figures. I'm going to make 200 grand. My business is going to generate 600 grand in revenue. It's going to make this much. I'm going to be able to get myself an apartment. This year, I'm going to put down this down payment on my house. In 2 years, I'll be a millionaire. You have all those people who talk about how they manifested success and how they manifested this and they manifested that, but you really don't know if that's true. And the reason why I brought up that previous video that I did before on why social media is a lie is because, especially when you are going into the new year, it's super easy for us to overestimate what we can do in a certain period of time. And it's not even the time that God has given you, or in God's timing, it's the timing that you want it to happen. And then we get upset, and then you get depressed, and then you get burned out because you are not focusing on just consistency. You're focusing on wanting this to happen at this time. And there's so many times where people talk about they overestimate themselves, right? Famous example, right? And we knew he wasn't going to win. Well, look at Jake Paul and the Anthony Joshua fight. There at no time will there ever should be a fighter where he's going to walk in the ring and say, I think I'm going to lose, because then you wouldn't watch the fight. But he says, I'm going to knock this person out. I'm going to knock out Anthony Joshua, who's a world champion, who's bigger than him, who has longer arms, who has a better reach, who has a better skill set. But he overestimated himself, right? He's fighting all these people who he knows he can beat. But when he fights somebody who is better than him, when he fights somebody who has the pedigree, who has the skill set, he bit off too much to chew. And we see this for so many different instances of our life where we overestimate what we can do and when we can get it done. And then we get mad at ourselves because we said we wanted this to happen in this timeline, when we didn't walk with God, when we didn't ask for his guidance, when we didn't sit down to listen to what he might have for us and why he might be delaying it, because we might not be ready. Coming into this new year, one of my goals is to read more and to continue to focus on what I can learn, right? Because there's a lot of distractions, getting caught up in my phone, getting caught up on YouTube, Netflix, whatever. There's always things out there. There's a vast amount of distractions that we can get caught up in now, but just to sit in silence and read now, it's taught me that for us, we need humility, right? And one of the books I'm reading, The Psychology of Money, great book, it talks about that for many people, right? We want to be millionaires, but we don't really want to be a millionaire. We just want to spend $1 million. And that's how it is for a bunch of us. We say, oh, if I had this money, well, I'd buy this, I'd spend it on this, I'd spend it on that. And you're overestimating what you can do with that. And you're not understanding how much time it took to even get to that $1 million. That's what I mean by overestimating. You're overestimating how quickly you can get something done, how quickly you can reach this achievement. Instead of just setting small goals, you're saying, I'm going to achieve this by the end of the year, which is not a bad goal to set for yourself. But be realistic. Because when you overestimate yourself because you're comparing yourself to everyone else, it's because you want the respect and admiration of them or from them, because you think you'll feel some type of way when you're able to show those things. For a lot of us, we have to understand that, yeah, we want to accomplish things in our life, right? We feel like we're led. God has given us a passion to do certain things. He's led us in our life. We feel very clairvoyant about what we have coming up. But when it doesn't happen, then we get upset because we're overestimating. And I come to you to say this today and say this in the beginning of the year and get this message out in front of you, whoever's seeing this, right? Because there's going to be something you want to accomplish this year, and you set a really, really, really high goal like we all do. And at the end of the year, if it doesn't happen, ask yourself, are you happy with the progress I made, or did I just want it for this certain goal? Just like how there's people who say, I'm saving up for a house, I'm saving up for this car, I'm saving up for this. But life doesn't always work out that way, right? You might have somebody who gets sick in your family. They might not have the best insurance. Now you have to help pay for that. You might be sick yourself. The car you might be driving might break down. You might lose your job. And this is what I mean by we're overestimating, because we think that everything is going to happen in our own timeline. There's people who say they've been grinding at their craft for 5, 10, 15 plus years, and when they start getting some recognition, people think it's overnight. Absolutely not. Did they overestimate? I bet you they did. But they understood the true will it took for them to continue to work at it, and not continue to say, well, if I don't hit it this year, I'm gonna be depressed, I'm gonna burn myself out, I'm not gonna like it. No, because they understood that, hey, it's all about the small progress and the small steps. Man, it's crazy for us to be in another year, and it's always gonna happen again for a lot of people. You're gonna have those people who say, well, this year I want to get back into the gym, I want to lose 50 pounds. Your goal might be 50. You might only lose 30 by the end of the year. You might have some road bumps. You might have some hiccups. You might go through some things emotionally, right? You might get sick. You might have a lot of things that's going on with your body that you didn't know where it was going to happen as you go into this workout journey, as you go into this new health and fitness journey. And because you didn't lose 50 pounds, you're depressed. You're upset with yourself. This is what I mean by don't overestimate yourself, because when we overestimate what we're gonna accomplish and how we're gonna get it done, we look down on what we've actually done. We look down on the progress we've actually made, and then we're depressed because we're comparing ourselves, and comparison is a thief of joy. So if we're gonna sit here and compare myself to this person lost 60 pounds this year, right, and I only lost 30, but because I said I wanted to lose 50, I'm upset. This person started a business and they made $150,000 in their first year. That doesn't mean that they're profitable. Doesn't even mean they took that home. That's just revenue. And this is why I had to relate back to social media, because with social media, it allows so many of us to overestimate where we're going to be. We all want to be at the destination without doing the work. Remember that. We all want to be at the destination without having to do the work. It's so prevalent for us, right? It's so easy for so many of us to think about that. As the lottery just hit $1.8 billion, that shows how many people were really trying to get to the destination without doing the work. If you gave, which the winner took home $493 million, which is probably a lot of smaller winners who, got a smaller percentage after taxes. The big winner took about $500 million, so $500 million home, give or take. You know how many people, if you gave that to them, they would overestimate on what they can do with it. Now $500 million, you can do a lot, right? That's 0.001% money. You can do an exorbitant amount of good, but you can also do exorbitant amount of bad. And you can't take that money home with you. So there's people who would look at it as, oh, once I get it, I'd buy this, I'd buy that, I'd buy this, I'd buy this, I'd buy this. And this is what I mean by we overestimate. We overestimate how much our life would change when we win that lottery ticket, instead of estimating how we can change our life on what we're doing now. And I'm not saying don't set your goals high, but don't set your goals high and then be upset when you don't accomplish them. Because you have to start from somewhere, right? It's great to shoot for an A or an A plus every time you take a test, but you might not get it every time. If you get that A minus or that B plus or that B, are you going to be upset with the work that you put in and you got there? Yeah, you wanted to do better. Okay, go back to the drawing board, come back, and you could focus on it and be better. But for too many of us, we overestimate and then we're upset. I could say, oh yeah, I want to have 1 million subscribers. I want to have 1 million subscribers by June, 1 million subscribers by next August, next year, August 2027. I want to have 1 million subscribers. Let's say I don't even crack 10K. Now I'm upset. Now I'm giving up. Now I'm not focused on what I really wanted to do, right? Which is provide value. And that's what I mean by we overestimate ourselves and we almost cut short how well and our true intention of what we're trying to do and what it means to us because we didn't reach that set number. We didn't reach what in our mind is the ideal number, what looks perfect to us. But how can we know what's perfect for us if we're trying to walk with God and we're trying to follow his plans, right? As it says in Proverbs verse 3:5, lean on God's understanding and not your own. If I'm trying to lean on his understanding, how can I tell him that by the end of the year I want this and this is going to happen? It's through his guidance, it's through his will that it would happen, not through my own strength. And we need to understand that this is where I felt led in this message coming into this new year, because there's going to be something that you have on your plate. Yes, you who's watching this, there's something on your mind. There's something that you want to get done and you have the A plus goal that you're going for. Shoot for it. I'm not denouncing you. I'm not shooting you down on saying that, but don't be upset if you get a B or a B plus, because there's so much progress that you came from or progress that you made that you're not looking at just because you didn't get that A plus. And that A plus is something that you wanted in your mind and you pictured there because you thought that there was going to be a certain level of admiration, certain level of respect, certain level of acceptance that other people would have given to you. But the only thing that matters is if you accept yourself. Jesus accepts you. That's the thing. When you look in the mirror, because at the end of the day, the less you care about what other people think, the less it will matter if you have things to show them. It's all about what you have to show for yourself. You spend the most time with yourself. So don't overestimate. Don't shoot for the stars and get upset when you get out to space but you don't reach the stars. Take it one step at a time, man. That's what we're here for. But all right, y'all. I hope you liked the message. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to get out here. We're going to get it right.